AEW Dynamite starts off with Hangman Adam Page. He ends up cutting a very deep, passionate promo. Basically, he ends up thanking the fans, ends up saying that the fans are the reason why he's in AEW. The fans are the reason why AEW exists. And that without the fans, none of this is possible. AEW wouldn't exist. He wouldn't be AEW World Champion. He basically gives a huge thank you to the fans. And the fans, of course, ends up praising Hangman. You know, you end up getting you deserve it chance. This was an overall good overall promo. He ends up thanking all the people, of course, who helped him on the journey, who faced the Death Riders. He thanked Orange Cassidy, Adam Copeland, Jay White, Will Ospreay, and he is end up thanking Swerve. This was a really good promo. Nothing too major, but just a good celebration promo to give Hangman his flowers. Nothing too major. I'm just excited that we got a new AEW champion and that we in a new, I wouldn't call it a new era, but we on a new journey with Hangman, because I've been wanting Hangman to win the AEW World Champion since last year when Swerve was champion, hoping he dethroned him. So I'm just glad that Hangman is champion, that Jon Moxley doesn't have the title anymore, hoping that we could start new feuds and new stories. But based off tonight's show, I'm not sure we're going to be getting that, but let's just hope that with Hangman as champion, we're going to get new stories leading forward. But this was a good way to start the show. Afterwards, we end up getting the Young Bucks. They were telling the story of life with the Young Bucks not being EVP, without not being EVPs anymore due to them losing the tag match against Will Ospreay and Swerve. Starts off with them hopping in a car. I don't know what type of car it was, but it was basically your typical everyday car you see on the street. They didn't pull up in a limo. They end up walking in carrying their own suitcases. You end up getting all the backstage wrestlers ended up insulting them, laughing at them due to them not being EVPs anymore. They end up getting a new locker room, etc. They end up having a match tonight as well, where during their entrance, you end up getting Justin Roberts making fun of them for not being EVPs, acknowledging that they're not EVPs anymore. They end up during their entrance, they end up showing a highlight of the Swerve and Will Ospreay match, which I thought was hilarious. I like what they're doing here. They end up forming an alliance with Don Callis. I'm assuming this is going to have them have some type of power without them actually having power. So I understand it. They end up having a match with the Don Callis family. It was like an 8-man tag. So looks like that's going to be their new way of having the Young Bucks still have some type of power without them having power, to still have their gimmicks still somewhat work, and just have them align with the Don Callis family. I don't hate it. I don't really love it, because I'm not the biggest fan of Don Callis' family, I'm going to be honest, especially because they have like 20 members in their faction that are all useless outside of 2 members. And even them, they're not the most effective, because whenever they face real main event talent, they lose. So it's like, we see where this goes, but it's like Don Callis already has like half of the AEW roster in his faction. It's like adding the Young Bucks is like, it's whatever, but we'll see how this plays out. We end up getting an MJF segment. He ends up basically he ends up acknowledging Hangman winning the AEW World Championship, and he ends up saying that he's glad that Hangman won the AEW World Championship, because cashing in on Moxley would have been easy, but with Hangman he has something to prove, and he needs to prove that he's better than Hangman, because he believes he's the best in the world. And that he ends up saying that he doesn't need the contract to beat Hangman, that he wants to beat him clean. Now, during this, Bobby Lashley was kind of side-eyeing MJF, so it looks like they're still telling that story of Bobby Lashley not fully liking MJF. Now, when MJF said that he has to beat Hangman clean, I am hoping that when he said that he's not going to cash in like in an actual match. I hope he cash in when Hangman, you know, like the typical cash in that you would do is when your opponent, after a match, when he's all tired and beaten up. I hope he does that, because I'm hoping that when he said that he has to beat Hangman clean, he's not going to do like a open cash in where he gives, like he does it like for a pay-per-view. I hope he doesn't do it like that, like a RVD type stuff. I hope that is not the case. Very interested to see where this goes. This could go a lot of ways with MJF. You could easily have the Hurt Syndicate betray MJF if you want to build that story. You could have MJF, of course, dethrone Hangman. You could have them feud. You could, like, this could go a lot of ways. You could have the Hurt Syndicate cost MJF after winning the championship. This could go a lot of ways. You could have him fail and the Hurt Syndicate. This could go a lot of ways. Very interested to see what they do with this storyline. Either way, it works for me. Long as MJF is in the main event scene and is pushed like an actual main eventer, I'm happy, because MJF deserves to be in the main event scene. He's one of your guys you should be building he should be one of your building blocks of AEW. So hopefully this is a step in the right direction for MJF, because his booking since returning has been atrocious outside of like 1 or 2 feuds. So I'm hoping this is a step in the right direction, because MJF should easily be your top heel and one of your top guys in AEW. So hopefully this is a step in the right direction. We end up getting Adam Copeland. He ends up cutting a promo. He mentions, coming out at Allin. And he ends up saying that he did not come out to help Christian Cage. He came out strictly for FTR. He ends up mentioning that ever since he came in AEW, that Christian has tried to make his life a living hell. He ends up saying he doesn't blame what the patriarchy did to him, and that he told Christian that the patriarchy was eventually going to betray him. Then he ends up going to FTR, and he ends up saying that when they formed Rated FTR constantly complained about them that being in Adam Copeland's shadow, and that they didn't go after the tag team titles, which Adam Copeland thought was ridiculous, which I do agree, because even now they're still not going after the tag team titles, even though they keep complaining about it. Then you get Stokely, of all people. He comes out, and he basically ends up saying that Tony Khan says that Adam Copeland's behavior is not right, and that if he attacks FTR, he will be fired, which I don't understand the logic there, but okay. Then you end up getting Adam Copeland responding to Stokely, ends up saying that, well, I can't attack FTR, but I can attack you. Stokely had 2 security guards. He pushes them both. He takes them out. And he, instead of running out, because Stokely was like very close to like the ring apron where he could have easily escaped, but instead of escaping, he turns to the turnbuckle, waits like 30 seconds, then turns around, walks towards Adam Copeland, and gets speared. This segment was so hard to watch. I still don't understand why Stokely is helping out FTR. I just think it's, me personally, I don't understand why FTR need a mouthpiece. I don't get it. They don't need a mouthpiece. I think it's very unnecessary. This segment felt very forced. Yeah, I didn't really like this segment, mainly because, yeah, it didn't make sense, because Stokely could have easily escaped the ring. It's not like they was close. Like, Stokely was extremely close to the ring. He had to take out 2 security guards, but he walked towards the turnbuckle for whatever reason, turn around, and then walk towards the spear, which made no sense. This segment just felt forced. It felt very flat. It would have just been better if FTR came out and told Adam Copeland himself that he can't attack them, and then they tried to urge him to attack by attacking him. That would have made more sense, in my opinion. But they went this route. We'll see where this story plays out. Of course, eventually, I'm assuming Christian is going to team up to help Adam Copeland fight FTR. Whether or not they win the tag titles is up for debate, but we'll see where this story goes, but it's not starting off good so far. We end up getting Toni Storm. She cuts a promo. I'm not going to go that in depth on the promo, really. She basically ends up saying, wondering what's next for her AEW World Championship reign. You get Athena. She interrupts her on the Titantron, basically mentioning her winning the Casino Gauntlet, mentioning the contract, and that she's coming for Toni Storm, which I do like. I like that Athena is a person that's lurking in the shadows who could potentially dethrone Toni Storm, because there's no one who could really dethrone Toni Storm. I'm going to have a little bit of hope. Hopefully she cash in successfully, because no offense to Toni Storm, I get she's your most over woman, but we need new stars. The problem that AEW have with their women's division is the problem that NXT have with their men's division. It's like we have like 1 or 2 guys, and that's it. Like, I don't have much faith, because Tony Khan has proven time and time again that if you're not Toni Storm or Mercedes, he's not booking you like that. So we'll see where this plays out. I'm hoping Athena successfully cash in, but I don't have the highest hopes for her actually being successful. We end up getting Swerve and Okada. Okada basically ends up calling out Swerve due to him costing the Young Bucks their EVP label. Swerve comes out and basically ends up saying that what is Okada going to do about it, and then they have a stare down with Don Callis holding Okada back. So it looks like they're building this match towards Forbidden Door, which should be interesting. One thing I did notice is that Don Callis came out with the Continental Championship and the International Championship, which I don't like. It's like, you have a unified title for a reason. Stop carrying both titles. Like, stop. Get rid of those titles. We shouldn't see those titles on TV anymore. Just show the unified title. I would say I'm interested in this match, but I'm really not. I just don't care for Okada. I really don't. Okada has not impressed me at all since in AEW. I'm still trying to find the hype. Yeah, I just don't care. I don't care for him as a character or a wrestler. This should be cool for Swerve, I guess, but I just don't care. I know most AEW fans are hyped for this match, but me personally, I couldn't care less. Then we get the main event. We end up getting Hangman, Hobbs, and oh my god, forgetting that Mark Briscoe, for whatever reason, was in this match. And then you get the Death Riders. I don't know why Mark Briscoe was in this match. I get Hangman and Hobbs, but Mark Briscoe made no sense in this match. Trios match. Hangman wins, of course. Like, Hangman and the babyfaces win, of course. You're not going to lose your first match as AEW champion. Death Riders attack, but then you end up getting Darby Allin standing in the shadows. All of a sudden, they end up putting on like a light on him out of nowhere, and he's just staring at Jon Moxley. And then Hangman gets the upper hand, and the babyfaces stand tall. Don't know what this is going to lead to. I don't know if that means Darby Allin is going to feud with Moxley or is going to go after the AEW World Championship. I don't know. All I know is I'm hoping that this Death Rider story is ending and that we don't see these guys for the World Championship. If you want to keep them on TV, fine. Do not have them fight for the World Championship anymore. I am so over Jon Moxley and the Death Riders. Please tell me that we have new stuff for Hangman. Please. We do not need another Moxley Death Rider storyline with Hangman. Move on from that. It's over. End it now. Overall, this show was not good. This show was not good. Lacked a sense of direction. The angles weren't really hitting for me. And it's unfortunate because I really don't want to hate on AEW. I want AEW to be a good show, but AEW weekly shows have just been very hard to watch. But you guys let me know your overall thoughts and opinions down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.